Hey guys, so we are going to work with complementary and supplementary word problems today. As you know, last time we talked about what do those two words mean. Remember that complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees, while supplementary angles are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. And I think in order to do the word problems, we really have to understand this information here. So complements, let's look at this. So we have a 10-degree angle here. I want to know the complement of a 10-degree angle. Hopefully that's a pretty quick one. That would be 80 degrees. Why? What is 10 plus 80? 90. Boom, nailed it. The supplement would be 170 degrees. Most people aren't going to struggle with that if they understand the definitions of supplements and complements. 170 plus 10 equals 180 degrees. How about the complement of 75 degrees? Maybe a little tougher, but 90 minus 75, that is a 15-degree angle. And 180 degrees, that would be 180 minus 75, clocking it at 105 degrees. So we have an idea of what complement and supplement mean, I hope. So then we look at something like this, an angle that is x degrees. In other words, it's an unknown size. I don't know how big the angle is, but I want to know what the complement of this unknown angle is. So it helps us if we go back and we realize, okay, how did we get 80 degrees here? What is the process there? Didn't we think about it as being 90 minus 10? We knew they had to add up to 90. We knew one of them was 10. 90 minus 10 is how we got that 80. Over here, how did we get 170? Didn't we do 180 minus 10? Aren't those the same value? 90 minus 10 and 80, those are the same number. One simplified, one is not. But the simplified version 80, that's what we would write. That's how we would do it. How about if the angle was 75? We would do 90 minus 75 degrees. Isn't that how we got the 15? Over here, we have 180 minus 75 degrees. That's how we get the 105. So those angles, we got them by subtracting them from the total. Well, the same process is here. If it's x degrees, we're going to take x and subtract it from 90. These two angles are complementary. Well, complementary angles have to add up to 90 degrees. Take our 10-degree example, right? If I took 10 degrees and added 80, isn't that answer 90? What if I took x and added it to 90 minus x? What does that equal? Wouldn't the x's cancel out and that also equals 90? Yeah, they have to add up to 90 degrees. Well, the supplement would be the same idea. They have to add up to 180 degrees, so we would subtract it from 180. Now, 55 minus x gets a little bit more complicated. So if we're working on that, we would do 90 minus 55 minus x. A lot of people are minus messer-uppers, so we do have to be real careful about how we proceed. Do you guys remember how we talked about multiplying and division, how division is just the same as multiplying by the reciprocal? Well, what is the same as subtraction? Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. So if I'm looking at this, what is the opposite of this? The opposite would be negative 55 plus x. A lot of people mess this up, though. A lot of people forget to do the opposite of the whole thing. I see a lot of people that are very good at math who do minus 55, but then they leave it as minus x. No, you've got to do an opposite. You're distributing a negative. It's the opposite of everything. So what we have here is 90, it's negative 55 and positive x. Well, that's not simplified, but that's the next step. Well, 90 minus 55 would be 35, and then we still have the plus x. That is our final answer. That's our complement. The supplement, on the other hand, would be very similar. It would be 180 minus 55 minus x, which is 180 minus 55 plus x, which leaves us with 125 plus x. Boom. All right. So that's basic information, getting complements and supplements of angles. So the next phase then is, can we do some word problems? And these are some of the tougher ones. Most years, this is one of, if not the most missed question, is can you write an equation that represents this word problem? So these are complementary and supplementary word problems, and we'll have these in class for sure. And our goal here is to translate them into a math equation. So we have to know some key words. And I'm going to go ahead and give you some key phrases. This is for this class only. This is not an always situation, but anytime you see an angle, that is x. We're going to call an angle x. Why? Because we don't know the angle. So when it says in these questions, like the measure, like an angle, how big is the angle? Twice the measure of the, what's the complement? But when it mentions an angle, we don't know how big the angle is. They didn't say it's 10 degrees or 5 degrees. We don't know. So we're going to call it x. So if the angle is x, what is the complement? The complement is always going to be 90 minus x. What is going to be the supplement? The supplement is always going to be 180 minus x. We need to keep this information in mind. Those are the translations. Kind of like in Spanish, you know, you translate words. I don't know enough words in Spanish, but it's just like translating one language to another. I'm translating English words into their math equivalents. So keeping that in mind as we go through this, the measure of the supplement of an angle. So there's our first part. I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to replace it. What is that? That's the supplement of an angle. That is 180 minus x. So our equation begins 180 minus x. Is. What does is mean? In math, what do we translate is to? That is equals. So the measure of a supplement of an angle is 180 minus x equals 40 degrees larger than. Okay, well that's 40 degrees, like that's more than. 40 degrees more than would be another way to say that. I'm actually going to put a plus 40 at the end. That's just good habit. I don't want you to confuse yourself. It doesn't make much difference when you're adding, but it definitely makes a difference when you're subtracting. If it's 40 degrees more than something, I got to get that something first, right? Like if I have $10 more than, Fred, I'd have to know how much money does Fred have first, and then I would add 10 to that. So I got to figure out this other thing first, and I know I'm going to add 40 to that. And then the next part, it says twice, how do I do twice something? Twice something, the measure of its complement. Well, what is its? What is that representing? Its, what is it referring to? It's referring to the angle. It's the pronoun for the angle. It is the pronoun for the angle. So it's really saying the measure of the angle's complement. Well, the angle's complement, as we said earlier, is 90 minus x. So here's our equation. So read it, see if you understand it. But the measure of the supplement of an angle, 180 minus x, is equals 40 degrees larger than plus 40, twice, 2 times, the measure of its complement. Complements are 90 minus the angle, 90 minus x. All right, I'm going to solve this pretty quick. So I'm going to distribute here. I'm going to get 180 minus 2x. Don't forget we have a plus 40. Here we have 180 minus x. The 180s would cancel out. Add the 2x. I'd have x equals 40 at the end of the day. But it doesn't say how big. Oh, it actually does. How big is the angle and the complement? Well, the angle is 40, so the complement is 50. Remember, x represents the angle. So then continuing on, twice the measure. Let's do another one. Twice the measure of the complement of an angle. Twice. That's 2 times something. The measure of the complement. Twice the complement. The complement. We talked about that earlier. We're going to say x is, or the angle is x. So it's like the complement of x. The complement of x, 90 minus x, is equals 24 degrees less than. Subtraction matters a bit more. You have to put that at the end. That's 24 degrees less than. That's minus 24. Something minus 24. 24 degrees less than its, what is it? That's like x. It's 24 degrees less than x's supplement. Well, what is x's supplement? 180 minus x. So this is the equation. Twice the complement, 2 times 90 minus x, is 24 less than the supplement. So again, we got to distribute. That'd be 180 minus 2x. Equals 180 minus x minus 24. There's nothing to do with those parentheses, so they just go away. Oh, another one where the 180s cancel out. Add the 2x, I'd get x over here. Add the 24, I get 24. So x is 24. What is the measure of the angle? Make sure you answer the question. Well, we did. X is the angle, so the angle is just 24 degrees. One more. The complement of an angle. We did that before. That's 90 minus x. Remember, the angle is x. The complement of x is the way we read that. Is 40 equals 42 less than. That's minus 42. 42 less than. Minus 42 from something. 5 times the angle. 5 times. What do we call the angle? X. In other words, 5 times x. So there's our equation. Now we solve. So I would get the x's. That would become 4x. Add 42. 90 plus 42 is 132. Now, we're going to divide by 4. This might be kind of hard to do. We talked about this in class some, but I want you to become better with numbers every day. If you just type this in your calculator, you're losing a chance to become better with numbers. And the easier numbers are, the easier math is. So don't rob yourself of that chance. Let's do it in our head. Let's think about how we would do this. I do not know 120 divided by 4. But I can think of a number close to 120. I do know, 132. Spoiler, it's going to be 120. I know 120 divided by 4. Well, if I do 120 divided by 4, how much is left over? I got to do another 12 divided by 4. I can do those. So what I did is I picked the biggest number that is a less than 132 that I could divide by 4 quickly. And that answer was 120. 120 divided by 4 is 30. And then I would have 12 more left over. But it's not just 12. You don't just add 12. You still have to cut it into fourths. So plus 12 over 4 would be 3. So the answer is going to be 33. So how big is the angle's supplement? I didn't answer the question. Yikes. So if the angle is 33, I want to know how big is its supplement. I'm looking at this. This doesn't actually work. Sorry, team. I hate to do this at the end of a video. I messed up. I did something everyone does. Oh, no. Oh, no. I need to add x. That's 6x. Oh, no. I can't start the video over. It's too much. I got to divide by 6. Same idea. Oh, it's actually 120 again. I can do 120 divided by 6. Plus, how much will be left over? Still 12. Got to divide it by 6. So that'd be 20 plus 2. So x equals 22. Darn it. Okay, that's the angle. Its supplement, the supplement of 22 would be 180 minus 22. That would be 158. That's what we're looking for. Oh, I'm really sorry. I messed up. I subtracted x. I made it 4x. That's why we check our work. I was kind of looking ahead, checking it mentally. It did not work. It did not work. When I plugged in 33 in my head, 90 minus 33, and then over here, like it didn't work. So I was kind of checking it ahead. It didn't work. 33 was a no-go. So I'm glad I did that. 22 is the answer. Sorry, the angle is 22. The supplement would be 158. See, now I'm frazzled. Sorry. That's okay. Sometimes we mess up. We check our work. We fix it. There we go.